The title for this video is not exactly friendly, I know, but this game is unfortunately boring, and I am tired of boring horse games. And I know people are not going to be happy, because this game does have a lot of fans, a very dedicated fan base. But I am now going to personally raise the bar for the standard of horse games from the ground up to an inch, because I am expecting horse games to be better than this, because we as horse gamers honestly deserve better. Well, this is not to say that Unbridled is purely bad. There are some nice ideas here that I think will appeal to some players, and it has the potential to grow into something better. But the overall package needs a lot of work for it to be something engaging. Properly engaging, and not just mindless activities you have to do over and over again. Yes, I am aware the game is in early access, and yes, I am aware that this early access is better than Astride's. If we are going to compare all horse games to Astride's early access, then they will all be contenders for Game of the Year. So being better than Astride does not excuse it for being bad, especially because it has been in development for over 4 years. But before we get into all of that, I'd like to thank my Ko-Fi supporters for being more awesome than this ad. Has this ever happened to you?
No!
Don't worry, if your dog has destroyed your favorite horse figurine, you can just head on over to Pinehaven Ponies and find a brand new one. They have a wide range of Breyer horses, Schleich horses, some collectible horses, and they keep adding new stock consistently. They also ship just about anywhere, except to South Africa, because it's expensive. And if you buy a brand new Schleich or Breyer horse and your dog eats that one, you can just bury the dog. Don't miss out and go and get yourself a Breyer or a Schleich van Pinehaven Ponies. On with the video. Unbridled That Horse Game is a game being developed by Mindev Games. It started production sometime in 2020, and since then it has seen quite a few iterations. There has been around 4 betas for this, and each time it has felt like the game was basically reset. Now, this is actually very normal for development. It's not terrible for a game to be reset, but it is very frustrating to see that, which is why I am an advocate for keeping your game and project secret, at least until you have a base down for exactly what you want the game to be. Your project will go through a lot of growing pains. It's not always a good idea to make it a public spectacle. It would be like if a writer shows you the first draft of their story. I can imagine that there would be parts that you would love and parts that you would hate, and if the parts that you love get dropped in favor of the parts that you hate, you're not going to buy the book. Just my thought. Now, in 2023, Unbridled would launch a Kickstarter that would not reach its goal. This slowed down development by a lot, but they do still have a Patreon, so they are at least getting some funds for the project today. Now, the concept for the game is this. It's a long list, so we're just gonna touch on a few elements. Third-person view and first-person view, in-depth character customization, inventory system, gardening, fishing, archery, riding, breeding, buying and selling horses, horse training, competitions, horse care, different styles of tack, horse customization, more horse breeds, design mode, which actually lets you design and decorate your stable and the surrounding areas. Then you have a day and night cycle, weather changes, wild animals, exploration, earning money, progression system, quests and side activities, immersive sound design, user-friendly interface, multiplayer functionality, regular updates and content expansions. Okay, so I basically just read the whole thing. The point is, this is a big project. So the developers sort of expanded a little bit on what exactly their game is going to be. I asked and they answered, and this is what they said. We are creating a simulation game, and our goal is creating a simulator that can fit both cozy gamers but also those who prefer more action. We are creating a game where there is no set main story for the character. There will, however, be smaller stories and secrets to uncover in the surroundings. There won't be an open world, but we will have locations to explore when you do not want to train and tend to your business at home. We want to make the game invite the player to roleplay, but we also want the player to be able to choose what they want to spend their time on. Example, feeding the horse could be done in different ways. One way is the longer, more roleplay friendly. You go to the feed room, collect the feed, and then walk over to the stall and feed it to the horse there. Or you can simply drag and drop feed in the stable manager. One is really quick and the other more immersive and roleplay friendly. So taking all of this into consideration, is the game a sandbox? In some aspects, yes, the player will be able to make their own goals, but there will also be some end goals like completing and winning all jumping competitions, for example. There is no sandbox mode with infinite money, but in the other aspect, yes. So this entire idea creates a twofold problem. It's basically too much for the team they have. The scope of this game has always been extremely big, and with a team of 2, now 3 working on it, the concern for the feasibility of the project is understandable. The other issue that I have is because it's essentially just another sandbox, Unbridled has always struggled to have an identity. Now this is obviously just my opinion in this, but out of all the games that have been made, Unbridled struggles to stand out for me. But I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. This is a review, so let's rather get into the review, and we're going to start with the world and graphics. So when you start the game, you are met with the character screen. The character creation is quite varied, and although it seems restrictive in some ways, I can't do jack shit with my eyebrows, it does offer enough to make rather unique characters. I had a bit too much fun with it, to be honest. Let's make it like... Perfect! This is the most beautiful character that you have ever seen in your life. Once you're done with that, you're dropped into the world and you are given the basic concept of the game. You purchased a new property and now you can own a lot of horses. A dream come true, not gonna lie. The overall world has some variation. There is a town, a marketplace, a campsite to explore, and another stable where you can help out to make money. Your farm is not big, but you have a little space to round around in. Basically, it's not an open world per se, but instances of different areas with loading screens in between, which is fine. This is a great way to ease up on the rendering and allow for a smoother and more optimized game. Plus, it alleviates development time. Very smart. The world also has a day and night cycle, which is pretty nice. The graphics are fine. It's very glossy and it just feels cheap and almost borderline an asset flip. I'm not saying it is, but it feels like one, and that sort of kills any emotional engagement and identity. I asked the developer directly about why they are going for realistic graphics, and this is what the developer said. About the realistic graphics, I initially went for this because I was very inspired by the game Horse Illustrated Championship Season, which made me start creating the game. It has realistic graphics, which I loved and always preferred in horse games. Also, there are not many I know with this style too. Now, Horse Illustrated Championship Season is a very old game, but I can absolutely see Unbridled's inspiration from it. I don't think it's a bad idea to take inspirations from games like these. There's an atmosphere and a feeling that they're obviously trying to capture. I will say that the technology was not great back then, so realism was not precisely as we see it today. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the realism angle overall. I understand a lot of people like it, but only because they have played games like Red Dead Redemption 2. They have seen, tasted, felt what a high-quality realistic game will look like, and there is an appeal in that. It is very immersive, and the horses are beautiful, and you want to be immersed on a pretty horse. I get it. We want to get that emotion from Unbridled. But Unbridled will never be Red Dead Redemption 2, because they do not have over 400 people and a budget of 100 million to make this game. And that's not me being mean, it's me being realistic, and why I want horse games to stop being realistic. Stylized graphics is not your enemy. I mean, look at Equinox. They are a team of, I believe, around 20 people, and they still can't get to Red Dead Redemption 2 standards, because they don't have 400 people and a budget of 100 million. Are you catching my f***ing drift here? Now, I'm going to use 2 examples. Rant, Rivershine and Tales of Rain Ravine have both understood this spectacularly and have seen major success. They kept their graphics stylized. This not only makes it easier to develop, but it also, on top of that, gives your game an identity. I recognize both of these games instantly, and I want that for Unbridled. I don't recognize Unbridled because it looks like every other single asset flip out there. It has no emotion for me, and that is a problem. Oh, and yes, Rain Ravine is missing in action. The developer, Maya, is like a rare Pokemon. She appears when you don't have a Super Pokeball and then just off into the ether again. Like, I love Maya, but please, can you just give us an idea of what's going on, girl? Sorry, moving on. Now, about the only place in Unbridled that feels like it has something more going on is the town. There are some cobblestone streets, and it feels like a little town you want to explore. There isn't a whole lot to do here, but it is a little better than the other places you just kind of wander around in. I want to be clear here that when making a realistic game, you don't have to make the world boring. There are beautiful and stunning places in our world that you can draw inspiration from. Real life is not this boring. You can make it very interesting. But in closing for the graphics for Unbridled, it is dull, with no feeling, and it comes across as just cobbled together, and not something that maybe was a lot of thought put into. There is no personality or emotion here, only functionality. Moving on to the tutorial. After you have created your character, you are given a few tasks. Go to the house, go to the arena, go to the other arena, go to the paddock, go to the mailbox. It is once again functional in that it shows you where everything is, and it is a terrible introduction to your game, because the introduction for games are as important as the first line of a book. This is where you hook the player. If it has no hook, players will not stay, and you want them to stay. So how do you go about that? Well, you give them motivation to move forward in your game. Let's take the example of Plague Tale: Innocence. I'm not a big fan of this game, but it does have a good opening. This game begins where Amicia, her father, and their dog Leon are walking through the forest. As they walk and talk, your character has to crawl to find the dog, has to jump over logs, has to run, and at the very end you are told to use your slingshot in a time-sensitive sort of trial. And all of this happens under the premise of Amicia and her father taking a walk and simply having some bonding time. The tutorial and the story are woven seamlessly, giving you motivation to complete the tutorial from a story perspective. And this is how the game introduces you to the three main elements of a game: gameplay, world, narrative. But the key here is that every action is motivated. Why am I using my slingshot? Because my father asked me to. Why am I crawling? Because I need to go check on Leon. Why am I running? Because black goop is spewing out of the earth and it will devour my soul. Now let's look at Unbridled. You are told to go to the paddock, to go to the arena, to go to the house, to go to the stables. There is no motivation as the driving factor, only the cold order from a message on a screen, which is a problem, because you as a player need motivation to push your character forward. Give a reason for why I am going to look at these places. Perhaps the person selling the farm gives me a tour. Perhaps I have to, take pictures, go collect skulls. I don't know, anything. Whatever reason it is doesn't matter, but a core driving force is required, a motivation for my actions. Now I will be fair here, Unbridled is still in development, but this is a review as the game stands now, and this is the feedback I am giving them. The opening, like the graphics, feel very functional, not emotional or creative. But for now, let's move on to getting our first horsey. Yay! After we check our mail, which starts in the middle of a sentence, we head to the marketplace and we can finally buy a horse. I select the bay, cause yay for the bay. And I also freak out about the fact that the graphics are glitching out and making little squares all around my screen, and I don't know why, and it's freaking me out.
Why is it doing that?
Optimization. Then I head back to the estate where I will learn how to ride. But let's first chat about the horses. The only part anyone ever cares about. I will pause here for a moment because the horse market is, in my opinion, done pretty well. There is a lot of thought here. You can, for example, test ride a horse, which is a nice touch and creates a sense of immersion. You can also create horses with either golden or silver tickets. The golden tickets cost 35,000 coins and the silver tickets cost 17,500. The difference is just that the golden tickets have no restrictions in horse creation, so you can select a horse and just go nuts. Or the final option is to simply purchase the horse for 4,000 coins. There are also some swords here peppered throughout, and a roundabout I could not go on, i.e. sadness. But yeah, some effort was clearly put in here, and I like the horse market overall. Now the price of the tickets are obscenely expensive, but we will touch on this later. The horses can be cared for, led, leveled up, ridden, and fed. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. You can use a curry comb, a body brush, and a hoof pick on the horse. Unlike most horse games, there are no mini games here, only the animation as your character cleans the horse. Feeding is also simple. You stand in front of the horse and feed it. But watching a character clean a horse's hooves is fine, but this can become boring and repetitive. Now what's boring for one might not be boring for another. Some might call this cozy, but cozy denotes a style of game that evokes relaxation or chillness, oh god chill, and a sense of calm. Unbridled doesn't feel cozy. It's clunky, slow, and too frustrating to evoke that feeling. Everything feels like it's a chore to do. You move slowly. You take a second to start running. When you lead the horse, it feels off, like you're maneuvering a car behind you. When you carry something, you can't run. If you want to pick up something, you have to stand right on top of it to get that damn trigger window. You have to stand in front of everything like you're trying to merge with it. When you're grooming, you sit back and watch as the character grooms the horse slowly. And you have to creep around the horse to do the rest, oftentimes getting stuck on places. Then you have to lead the horse forward again and try to force it forward or backward, which doesn't always work because I don't fucking know why. I know we all complain, like I personally complain about the fact that SSO only does one hoof, but here is the other extreme of that, doing every hoof individually and having to sit there and watch it happen. I actually started to miss the stupid minigames, which is horrible because minigames and horse games is something I despise because it's so patronizing and just stupid. And mostly the problem derives from how movement translates to my hands. Like I said, everything feels like I'm pushing the character. It's exhausting. The movement needs refinement. It needs to be easier, snappy. Riding the horse is also clunky, but not as bad as the character on the ground. But this is a problem because you are spending most of your time on the ground. Mostly of what you're going to be doing is cleaning horses and tacking up, and cleaning horses and tacking up. And I just don't want to feel this heavy. I feel tired after playing this game. It's so weird. Okay, there is method to the madness here. As the developers stated, they do want to open that door for, well, role-playing. Horse role-playing is huge in this community. It's like machinima, but just with horse games. Players create characters and make movies about their fantastical lives with horses. I'm not really into it, but some of these films are just downright amazing. But players have to work around HUDs and restrictions that all of these games have. So to have a game that is solely focused on the idea of role-playing, to have more freedom to specifically select a hoof, or to lead a horse, or create and record these realistic elements in a horse game, sort of a stage that is set for you to just kind of order the actors around, that is brilliant, and it will go off so well. But then I would argue, if you are aiming for that immersive roleplay style, then why not go all in? Why not build the ultimate sandbox for storytellers? Just add in the camera angles and let the gamers have the world they want to play around in. Unfortunately, the devs also want to make a game. But a game has to be fun, or at least engaging, something that challenges or that gives us something to enjoy. Walking around and picking hooves and clunkily trying to pick up a brush, I'm not gonna lie, dude, that's not fun. Your character also has an inventory, though I will admit I struggled a little to figure out how to switch out items in my hands. I don't know, I just kept fubbing it, but I think this was absolutely a user issue, not a game issue. I would be interested to hear if anyone else just stumbled like an idiot over switching out items. I want to lead my horse, please stop brushing it. Being very negative, but this ties in nicely with horse riding, which is interesting. Now, the horse's movement is right off the bat better than the humans. I can see what they're aiming for. You've got 4 gait, which you can switch out with the left shift and left control. And within each gait, you can then adjust that speed. So you can do a slow trot, a fast trot, a slow walk, and a fast walk. That's actually very cool in theory. Tuning the horse is fine, speeding up and slowing down gets a little used to, but it's fine. Everything is fine, and it's functional. And then there are the stats. And I don't know why my horse's stats are there to the decimal number. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with this information. If it is such a random thing to just drop there. If you're going to show data to the player, make it matter. Maybe instead of saying this 0.73 fucking 6 speed, just say a fast horse or a sluggish horse, or call the horse a speed demon or a hay-powered tortoise. Give it flavor. Again, it's so functional with no flavor. It's the difference between D&D and Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, Aragorn asks Legolas, "What do you elven eyes see?" In D&D, the fighter asks the archer, "Can you make a perception check?" One pulls you in, the other reminds you that you are playing a game. And that is exactly the problem with Unbridled. It just keeps reminding me that I'm playing a game. Anyway, stats aside, let's talk about the leveling. For each horse, you can select one path to level. There are 3 options: agility, jump speed. One option is currently hidden, and bonding levels naturally as you care for your horse. For my first horse, I chose agility, and jumping for the second. And that's really the most I can say about it. Your horse now turns faster, and the other horse jumps better. Functional. Your horse also gets 2 other abilities that boosts him a little more, but to find out if this actually works, I would have to go over this game so many times I would have gone mad. The leveling is so slow. Like everything in this game, and I know this is supposed to be cozy and slow, but it shouldn't slip into pure grind, which is exactly where this game lands. And it's not a fun grind. You are going to be doing these same jumping courses over and 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 over, and you get the idea. Again, to level the horse. It took me an obscene amount of time to get my horse up to level 1. It took me an even more obscene amount of time to level my other horse to level 1. Hours, I tell you, hours of the exact same courses over and over. To help ease the monotony, they do give you the option to create your own course. You can access it here, but oh wait, what is this? Why can't I create anything? Because I still have to buy the obstacles. Yes, if I want to create my own course in my arena, I have to plop down 500 coins per obstacle. And if anyone in the comment section types Marialism, I will point out I have an axe. I can go chop down a fucking tree and make my own obstacle courses. Sorry, just this point grated me. I do like the idea. It's a nice idea, but why are you expecting me to buy everything in this game? Let me enjoy the game. Stop trying to trip me up. Stop trying to pull the reins back. I just want to enjoy your game, and all I can do is grind. Now, I will say, I do understand. Currently, they are trying to extend the gameplay to ensure you have enough to do. But this is the first impression of your game. Why are you making everything so difficult? Why are you making everything so slow? This could potentially put people off, even if this isn't the game you aim to one day give your players. Right now, this is what people are experiencing, and many will believe that this is what you are going for. If you are making an early access, rather go for something shorter. It might have less to do, but if it's potent and concentrated, it might land with more punch. Leave people wanting more. We don't need a lot to do, we just need something that will intrigue us to make us hanker for more. Oh, sorry, just Now, the show jumping courses work like this. You have time, penalties, and striding. I'll explain the striding in a bit, but essentially, the more mistakes you make, the less XP you get, and there is no XP bar. I couldn't find one. Why isn't there a fucking XP bar? I'm getting worked up over something this stupid. But if they can show me, up to the decimal point, how fast my horse trots, why can't I have an XP bar? But let's talk about the jumping. The jumping is interesting. Again, they have a nice thought, but the implementation, there we go, is terrible. You have a flickering light on the bottom left. Your goal is to hit space at the correct time. The correct time is when the horse is on the final stride of the jump, but also when the light is on. This means you should be adjusting the stride constantly to ensure the horse ends up in the right spot at the right time. I would suggest, as a first-time player, ignore the flashing and focus on the horse's feet. Hit the space when the horse is as close to the jump as possible. That will help you get the feel for where the horse needs to be before hitting space. Now you can adjust the stride accordingly, but this brings in a different issue. My eyes are shifting all the time between the timer and the legs of the horse, which means my attention is split. I can't focus on both, and so I either sacrifice the position of the horse or the striding. I eventually just ignored the striding, because if I hit space close enough to the jump, my horse cleared it in any case. What riveting gameplay I have. To fix this, I would suggest moving the flashing light under the horse and let players see it while they can also watch the legs. As it stands now, it's difficult to check both at the same time. You can do it, and I have done it, but I think if the light is under the horse, it would be more intuitive, as it might represent the rider feeling the stride instead of just guessing it. But the jumping is fine, it's the highlight of the game, which unfortunately doesn't say much. Finally, I do like the models of the horses. They are not brilliant, nor are they perfect, but there is a sort of charm to the horse models that I find organic. They react when you pet them, their bodies even twitch. I like that when I run, they trot alongside me. I like that they stick their heads out of the boxes. I like the behavior of the horses. The devs put in a lot of effort into this side of the game, and it shows. The horses feel alive, like something breathing, not just a model. But unfortunately, the realism snake strikes again, because they are pushing for realism. The animations and models are compared to the real world. I can see that that is not the way a horse is supposed to move. Now, I can forgive a game like Ranch of Evershine because it has those cozy graphics, so I can suspend my disbelief about the movement of the horse. I can't do that here because they are deciding to go for realism, and the only thing I have to compare realism to is the real world outside my window, and that is a very high bar to set for your game. But that is what you do when you go for realism. I will put this rant down now, I promise. In closing, the horses have some good points, mostly bad points. But onto the chores. I mean jobs. So in this game, you have jobs you can do to make money to spend. There is a store where you can buy horse creation tickets or tack or courses, a bow, etc. So you do want to do these activities in order to be able to buy these items and then enjoy the game a little more or have something more to do. You unlock the activities when you unlock the other stable area and get access to the job board. These are the jobs that you can do. Ride horses, groom horses. That's it. But let's go over what you actually do, or rather, let me show you. To groom, you select the job, find the horse, lead the horse, hook the horse, groom the horse, pick the hooves, give a hug, take the horse back. To ride, you select the job, find the horse, lead the horse, hook the horse, tack the horse, mount the horse, ride the horse, jump the horse, get off the horse, attack the horse, lead the horse, back. Riveting gameplay. Now, you grind mostly for tickets, gear, and obstacle courses, but everything costs money, and it's a really painful grind. You get an average of around 175 coins per quest you complete. So, to save up for a single golden ticket, 35,000, you will have to replay these quests 200 times. I refused. If you are going to go for the golden ticket, you cannot buy anything. You cannot buy clothes, extra obstacles, nothing. You can only save up and repeat these quests over and 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 over.
3 days later.
And over 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 again. This is an insane grind. But to top it off, if you want to sell your golden ticket horse that you created, you get 4,000 coins. That's it. Like, I understand the need to keep people playing, but can we have a horse game that is not this grindy? That would be lovely. I want good games. I don't want to have to imagine a better game while playing a bad game, which is what I often have to do with horse games, and I'm sick of it. But let's move on to the crafting. You have to collect items like wood, fiber, and iron to craft your bow. I did this and I don't feel any sort of real reward for it. The crafting takes forever to gather the resources. It's a sluggish process, as of course. It has no point other than extending game time. It really can be removed and it won't change anything. But here are the pros of crafting. My character looks like a serial killer about to go and wipe out her family. I love this. Like, I look ready to crack someone's skull open. This was the best part of the game, I swear. Look at this. Just add some horror music and we're fucking good to go. But the thing is, the mining and gathering takes so long. I know what they are trying to do. They are trying to give players more to do in a game that is basically empty. But just throwing shit at the wall is not a good idea. You have to consider why you are adding elements and if it enhances or hurts your game. The crafting hurts it because it feels like work. I have to ride to the spot, get off the horse, mine, get on the horse, ride to the next spot, and do this dozens of times. I don't want to. I don't want to ride around on a small map looking for specific trees. But archery! Some of you are crying. You have archery, Rattle! You've unlocked it! Fine archery. I crafted my bow. How is the archery? It's fucking stupid. It's literally point and shoot. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what the point is. I don't know why it's here anymore. I don't have anything else to say. It is aim, point, shoot. I wanted the archery to be in there. I am sad that I pushed them to keep the archery. There is no energy bar, no stamina, not a way to hold your breath, nothing. Point, aim, shoot. It gives you something to do other than the other boring things to do. Oh God, like, I am so negative, but I am so tired of horse games doing, like, not understanding basic level design and basic game design. Now, in closing, my overall feeling for this game was bored, frustrated, and grindy. The game is a collection of what I don't like in horse games. It is very slow, very functional, and very empty. Not in gameplay sense, but in emotional sense. The game offers nothing beyond what you see, and that is a problem. It's like reading a book where the world is given to you in stark, plain sentences instead of weaving it in a way that captures your attention. Even Rant Rivershine, developer one person, when that early access launched, it gave flavor, it gave a slight story, it gave you intrigue, it gave you something to latch onto and make you excited for the following updates. When playing Unbridled, I have no feeling. I am doing, not enjoying. This canon will be different for players, as we all find different things enjoyable, and we find different things fun to do. But I cannot stress the intense boredom I had to combat throughout this. To make a game fun or engaging is one of the greatest challenges you will face as a game developer. Adding a bunch of activities for players to do over and over again, pointing to that and screaming, "I added something," does not equate gameplay. They are activities with no true risk or reward. What I can say for Unbridled is, it's functional. In graphics, in gameplay, in setting. And that is really all I can say.